Like, she's so fake looking that no woman would ever... Although Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' fiance, has never publicly acknowledged, confirmed, or denied getting plastic surgery or fillers, it's undeniable that she has gotten an insane amount of work done to her face and body. And it's getting to the point where people are spreading doctored photos of Lauren Sanchez, and we're not able to tell which ones are real or fake.
And his fake femme-bot wife, who looks like that? Why would he choose her after the salt of the earth, Mackenzie?
All the women in the world.
Right before it happens.
Why did he pick her, an ostentatious, needy, self-centered with histrionic personality disorder?
Like, other than human. And when I actually saw her photos, I thought, is this an AI-generated face? Is this real? Maybe this is just like a scandal somebody's put together to get people talking. Because sometimes people do that, but apparently it's real. She's done this.
But weirdly, Lauren Sanchez has conferred herself with some anomalous relatability because
Can you explain that to me?
she's so insecure that she has altered her face to the point where it's monstrous. Some showing Lauren Sanchez from before she got work done compared to after.
So, okay, so the one on the left, and they did the annoying thing where they put the after on the left.
Right.
Come on, man.
But that, I mean, I'm pretty sure
that's
that
real.
The after photo is real.
Yeah, but that one's
Which is
more
scary.
normal. It's less obviously egregious than the one that everybody's sharing.
Picture yourself as Lauren Sanchez, the high-profile fiancée of Jeff Bezos, enjoying life aboard a $500 million yacht until a global scandal suddenly disrupts everything.
It's not about an objection to plastic surgery. It's about an obsession with turning yourself into this fake version of yourself, into truly like a Kim Kardashian disciple with the enormous lips and the teeny tiny nose and the huge overdone fillered cheeks. I don't know what's in there. And I find it like a sign of mental illness. It's extremely upsetting. It's a massive turnoff to me. I really want to get in the heads of these young girls and say, please don't do this. What do you make of it?
Although Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' fiance, has never publicly acknowledged, confirmed, or denied getting plastic surgery or fillers, it's undeniable that she has gotten an insane amount of work done to her face and body. And it's getting to the point where people are spreading doctored photos of Lauren Sanchez, and we're not able to tell which ones are real or fake.
Her noticeable cosmetic transformation, plumper lips, a more tightened face, and altered features has left many in shock.
This is what happens with people's appearances today. And I think it's a result of, as you say, reality TV. It's a result of social media. It's a result of all of these bizarre fads. Oh, women with fuller lips are more attractive than women with thinner lips. Okay, now we're going to balloon our lips out so that they take up half of our face. Oh, women with more curves are more attractive than pencil-shaped women. Okay, well now we're going to take it completely out of proportion, and it becomes grotesque and ghastly. I really hesitate in any way to criticize this woman or any other woman's appearance, but it's a social phenomenon. So many women are doing it, and so I beg them, I implore them, I say, ladies, plastic surgery almost never, maybe not one single time ever has made someone look better.
Like, other than human. And when I actually saw her photos, I thought, is this an AI-generated face? Is this real? Maybe this is just like a scandal somebody's put together to get people talking. Because sometimes people do that, but apparently it's real. She's done this to herself. And look, she's not the only one. I would be lying if I didn't say my whole family stopped and looked at the latest pictures of Lauren Sanchez, who's engaged to Jeff Bezos. I don't know what she's done to herself, but she looks nothing like she used to look. Well, yes, when she was younger, but even when she first started to date him. I don't know what's happened to the cheeks. The breasts are out to here. The face is pulled and prodded. She's going out in her lingerie now. This is the latest thing, to wear a thong underwear and a sexy bra and just some lace overlay on top of it, which is like, I'm sorry, but she looks like a hooker. That is, you look like a hooker, and you're dating the richest man in the world or one of them. Like, try to be a little classy. Must everything be an expose of your obviously over-enhanced assets? I don't mean to be such a prude, Michael, but I just feel like we're losing something as a society. I don't want my daughter looking at that, and I don't want my sons looking at it either, but we did, because there it was in the New York Post. It was hard to avoid.
Even Jeff reportedly mocks her as a plastic joke and a harsh rebuke. Is this simply a case of cosmetic excess, Or the sign of a deeper betrayal threatening to unravel a billionaire empire?
She was so naturally beautiful, looked like Catherine Zeta-Jones. Lauren Sanchez now looks like the guy from Saw.
Yeah, she does.
And I can't tell, again, if this after photo is photoshopped.
I think it's doctored.
I don't know, though.
I think it's-
I can't tell anymore. I feel like even Lauren Sanchez can't tell what she looks like anymore, which is why she's gotten so much work done. You just completely, you look in the mirror and you don't recognize yourself anymore.
Men, I've seen that too. Look, I'm not against plastic surgery. This is something else. This is like a mental disorder. This is extreme. When you start off incredibly beautiful and you end up like a plastic Barbie version of a Kardashian. Like, and who did that to her? Who is the surgeon who said, yes, I will keep going. Yes, I will stick all sorts of crap into your cheeks and I will give you the whatever nose job, the extreme nose job to where basically your nose has disappeared. You know, it's like just a tiny little line down your face now. And I will pump your lips up to where like there's no space between the top one and your nose and your bottom one and the base of your chin. You're making these people look other, like AI.
This isn't just another scandal, it's a very public breakdown. If you're drawn to the secrets of the elite, consider tapping that super thanks button to support our deep dive into this unfolding saga. Let's break it all down.
The way that these women are modifying themselves and even just dressing and presenting themselves is like an AI robot of a person. But that's because the beauty that we see around us now is not in the real world with which we interact, decreasing every single day, but it's our screens.
What is it that she did before she met Jeff Bezos? She ran like a helicopter company or something?
I know she was a pilot.
Yeah, okay, she was a pilot.
She was also a news anchor, was she not?
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, she's done a lot of things. She's worn a lot of hats. But I think that she needs to do something to reverse the damage. Not all of it can be reversed, but she really looks inhuman at this point.
June 27, 2025, Venice, Italy glows beneath a golden sunset. Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's $50 million wedding turned San Giro Major into a haven for billionaires. A fleet of 100 water taxis carries high-profile guests Oprah Winfrey, Kim Kardashian, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Rosie O'Donnell to a 3-day celebration. Jeff's $500 million yacht, Koru, is docked nearby, standing as a striking symbol of luxury and wealth.
Or it's just like, you can't even reckon it. She looks like a cat. She looks like a human cat now. Look, I think somebody needs to intervene. I feel like these are unethical plastic surgeons. Someone needs to say, I used to watch that show Nip Tuck back in the day. It was entertaining. Then it got really weird and dark, but it was kind of cool. And, somebody needs to step in when you see that you've got an addict here. Like the same way that the bartender will say when the guy's barfing at the end of the bar asking for another glass of scotch, it's time for you to stop, sir. The plastic surgeon needs to say, it's time for you to stop, madam. Like, you've gone too far. This is an aesthetic that you're going for. It should literally be a nip or a tuck. It shouldn't be like this drastic makeover of already beautiful women who are obviously suffering.
And it's sad because you look at these before photos and she really was a natural beauty and never needed to change a single thing on her face.
10 luxury hotels are fully booked. A total of 180 private jets crowd the skies. And Beyoncé's exclusive performance sets Instagram on fire. Vogue calls it the most extravagant wedding of the century. Yet, behind the glamour, murmurs of discontent begin to surface. Social media fills with criticism. One viral post mocks the gray carpet, comparing it to an Amazon warehouse garnering over 5 million views. Meanwhile, local residents protest, holding signs telling billionaires to leave, as gondolas clog the already narrow canals.
I'm really happy with the work that's been done.
I actually was listening to a podcast of a few women discussing Lauren Sanchez and her plastic surgery, the way she dresses, and they actually find her strangely relatable.
How so?
Because when someone gets that extreme level of work done on themselves, you can tell that they are plagued with insecurity. So we know something incredibly vulnerable about Lauren Sanchez just based on her botched face. I mean, you know that she has dealt with very deep insecurity about her appearance for a long time now, which is why she's gone to such extreme lengths to go under the knife. Like, she's so fake looking that no woman would ever...
Guests begin leaking harsh reviews, complaints of lukewarm caviar, delayed transport, and $25,000 floral centerpieces described as resembling a Pinterest mishap. A podcast covering the event calls it a clout-chasing spectacle with even celebrities, like Rosie O'Donnell, reportedly rolling their eyes. The host questions the authenticity of certain connections, asking sarcastically, "Since when are Oprah and Bezos close?" The tone becomes increasingly skeptical.
It becomes anomalous and it becomes a talking point unto itself.
Right.
Where they'd actually fall to the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yet you, being like a more normal looking woman, would actually not feel like you could be compared to her because she's such an anomaly. Weirdly, Lauren Sanchez has conferred herself with some anomalous relatability because
Can you explain that to me?
she's so insecure that she has altered her face to the point where it's monstrous.
What was intended to establish Lauren as Jeff's queen quietly sparks the beginnings of a scandal that would soon disrupt their public image. Lauren's transformation stuns many. Fast forward to October 2025, she appears at a Malibu gala, and reactions are immediate. Her appearance is drastically different, noticeably fuller lips, overfilled cheeks, and an extremely narrow nose. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for, her explanation.
What she had to say, and she did a picture side by side of Lauren Sanchez before and after, and Rosie O'Donnell said this: "It turned my stomach, seeing all these billionaires gathering in the gross excess of it all. The show of it. Is Oprah friends with Jeff Bezos? Really? How is that possible? He treats his employees with disdain. By any metric, he's not a nice man. And his fake femme-bot wife, who looks like that? Why would he choose her after the salt of the earth, Mackenzie?"
Lauren Sanchez might have had something done, right? Let's take a look. What can you see? Here she is a bit younger. Here she is closer to today. Lips have gotten larger. That's not a natural thing. So her lips have been injected. Are these a little too full? Yes, especially on the bottom. For the most part, when you inject the lower lip, you want it to stay in the center. Her lips very full all the way to the side. Whoever she's seeing out in Seattle probably needs to tone it down, or else come see us here in Boston. Cheeks are very, very full. She had nice cheeks before, still has nice cheeks, but now those cheeks are getting a little too full because we're trying to stretch against skin that's getting a little looser. Skin's not super loose. Good chance there's been a little bit of a tuck here. Her nose is quite nice, but there was probably something done at some point to get that nice.
The podcast reacts with disbelief, calling Lauren's transformation a shift from natural beauty to what they describe as an AI-generated fembot. Earlier photos show a glowing Lauren, often compared to Catherine Zeta-Jones, with expressive eyes and natural contours. Now, her appearance is described as extreme lips so large they dominate her face, cheeks tightly pulled, and a body altered to exaggerated proportions. Some online liken her to a more intense version of Kim Kardashian. The internet erupts, viral. Posts share side-by-side comparisons. One meme with over 3 million likes labels her Bezos' plastic Barbie. Digitally altered photos spread rapidly, blurring the line between reality and fabrication. Is this AI? One user asks, a sentiment echoed in the podcast, where hosts admit they initially thought it was a publicity stunt, but this wasn't a minor update, it was a complete reinvention. The podcast stresses, this isn't about aging gracefully, it's about chasing an unattainable ideal. Yet the most significant reaction wasn't from the public, but from Jeff Bezos himself. To understand Lauren's journey, the podcast takes a step back. Lauren Sanchez didn't grow up among billionaires, an Emmy-winning journalist. She co-hosted Good Day LA for 7 years, earned her helicopter pilot's license, and founded Black Ops Aviation in 2016, one of the first female-led aerial production companies. She's a powerhouse, the podcast says, noting her close ties to figures like Kris Jenner, Ryan Seacrest, and top Hollywood executives. When Jeff finalized his $39 billion divorce from Mackenzie Scott in 2019, Lauren didn't just enter his life, she transformed it. She helped recast him from a reclusive tech CEO to a red carpet regular, establishing herself as a key partner in his evolving public image. Her ambition, the podcast notes, was strategic. From Vogue features to Blue Origin launches and STEM-focused charity events, she pursued prominence, yet the homewrecker label stemming from Jeff's divorce lingered, undermining her image. The podcast argues that the wedding was meant to be her moment of redemption, her crowning achievement. But the pressure of living in Bezos' spotlight, being compared to younger celebrities, and mocked as a symbol of his midlife crisis may have driven her to cosmetic extremes. Then comes the bombshell, Jeff's private reaction. According to insider claims shared on the podcast, Jeff was blindsided. At an intimate dinner at his Seattle residence, Lauren revealed her new look, expecting admiration. Instead, the podcast recounts, Jeff froze. He allegedly said, "You look like a plastic piece of *****. His voice cold. The room reportedly went silent. It wasn't mere disappointment, it was, as the podcast puts it, outright disgust. Jeff, who once called Lauren his partner in power, now saw something very different. He allegedly raised his voice, loud enough for staff to hear. The betrayal, insiders say, hit hard. Jeff wasn't consulted on the procedures nor aware of their extent. The host remarks that Jeff felt Lauren had turned herself into tabloid material. Excerpts of his reaction leaked. She's like every desperate Beverly Hills housewife. The podcast emphasizes Jeff's obsession with image. In his world, this wasn't simply a personal matter, it was a public relations issue. Lauren had expected support. Instead, she was met with humiliation. The same man who once proudly showed her off was now, reportedly, repulsed by her new look. That private tension soon became public. At a dinner in Malibu with major Hollywood figures, Jeff allegedly made sharp remarks. "I married a partner, not a mannequin," he said with a smirk as Lauren sat in silence. Visibly emotional, the podcast describes the scene. The room fell. Quiet, no laughter, only discomfort. One guest leaked the moment to Page 6. And headlines followed. Bezos slams Sanchez's plastic surgery. Memes went viral across X, formerly Twitter, with one gaining over 4 million likes, mocking Lauren as Jeff's failed prototype. Even Rosie O'Donnell weighed in, calling the situation an example of gross success and criticizing Jeff for publicly shaming his fiancée. The fallout was swift. Lauren disappeared from public view. Her once active Instagram account went silent. Events are abruptly canceled and Lauren's team scrambles into full crisis mode. The podcast poses a difficult question. Was this about vanity or desperation? Some feminist commentators accuse Jeff of misogyny, claiming he's punishing Lauren for striving toward beauty ideals that Amazon itself profits from through its massive beauty product empire. Others, however, criticize Lauren, saying she chose artificial perfection over authenticity. This isn't just tabloid drama, it's a cultural fault line, the podcast states. Jeff's silence only intensifies the backlash, leaving Lauren to absorb the consequences alone. Digging deeper, the podcast explores the root of Lauren's insecurities. Why did she take such extreme steps? According to those close to her, Lauren had been spiraling for months. The pressure of being engaged to Jeff Bezos, one of the most visible men on the planet, was relentless. Every red carpet appearance brought inevitable comparisons to younger women like Sydney Sweeney and Zendaya. Viral posts mocked her as Bezos's midlife fling, including a meme with over 2 million views stating Lauren's aging, Jeff's upgrading. The podcast reveals she was scrutinized daily, every wrinkle, every angle picked apart. Friends say even Jeff's offhand remarks didn't help. One allegedly joked he might trade up. Lauren took those comments to heart. Her decision to undergo surgery wasn't impulsive. She reportedly spent 6 months consulting top Beverly Hills plastic surgeons, planning each detail in secret. She wanted to be undeniably youthful, bold, flawless, but the outcome: exaggerated lips, overly tight cheeks, a barely there nose sparked backlash instead of admiration. She looks like a human cat, the host says, referencing a viral comment on X. Lauren hoped her transformation would silence critics. Instead, it gave them more ammunition. The podcast asks, was she chasing an impossible standard or trying to meet Jeff's unspoken expectations? Then the focus shifts. This wasn't just a personal conflict. Jeff's response, the podcast argues, was entirely strategic. As a CEO known for control, image is everything to him, and Lauren's appearance, now headline news, was a threat. Insiders describe Jeff's estate becoming a crisis command center after the gala, filled with PR professionals, lawyers, and crisis managers. This was never about heartbreak, the host says. It was about managing fallout. Jeff's camp quietly seeded business-friendly narratives, suggesting Lauren's makeover was a distraction from Blue Origin's upcoming launch. But users online didn't buy it. One viral post read, "Jeff's silence says it all. No apology, no public support for Lauren." The podcast reports that Jeff is now consulting legal teams not for a divorce, but to secure his assets. His focus is protecting the empire. What began as Lauren's personal transformation has become a perceived threat to Jeff's brand. Is he punishing her for the surgery, the podcast asks, or for acting without his permission? The host suggests that Bezos' real loyalty isn't to Lauren or even to love, it's to control, pointing out his history of leaving Mackenzie for Lauren as another example. Online, the debate escalates. Social media becomes a digital battlefield. Some users sympathize with Lauren, calling her a casualty of billionaire beauty standards. Others label her a fame-chasing opportunist. A viral thread with 6 million views compares her before and after photos, captioned "From Zeta Jones to Kardashian clone," Rosie O'Donnell's podcast commentary trends again. Bezos profits off beauty ads but shames his fiancée, she asks, hypocrisy. Feminist writers call out what they see as Jeff's double standards, while tabloids attack Lauren's appearance, describing her gala outfit as hooker chic due to its revealing design. The podcast unpacks this broader cultural moment. This story isn't just about Lauren, it's about how society treats women, especially those in the spotlight. Cosmetic procedures, once normalized in Hollywood, are now a hot-button issue. Women are criticized for aging and also for resisting it. The host points out that countless users are sharing their own stories of insecurity, making Lauren a symbol of modern vulnerability. Her face screams pain, reads one popular post with over 1 million likes. But others are less forgiving. She had everything, why ruin it? In the end, the podcast leaves the audience with a question: is Lauren Sanchez a cautionary tale about chasing perfection or a reflection of our collective obsession with it? Lauren isn't backing down, she's regrouping, according to the podcast. While she's clearly in crisis mode, she hasn't surrendered. She's been seen entering a top Beverly Hills PR firm, surrounded by high-level strategists working on a calculated comeback. Her team begins to quietly release stories framing her transformation as a personal journey toward self-empowerment. Soon after, a new Instagram post appears, a low-key selfie with the caption "Owning My Choices." It garners over 2 million likes on X, though critics quickly call it a PR stunt. She's trying to rewrite the narrative, the host remarks. But Jeff Bezos' absence continues to cast a long shadow. In response, Lauren refocuses on her brand. She announces a docuseries through Black Ops Aviation, a new STEM scholarship initiative, and an upcoming Vogue feature. She's not retreating, the podcast notes, but she's facing serious constraints. Rumors of a prenup clause surface, one that reportedly links her financial independence to Jeff's approval. The podcast speculates that Lauren isn't just fighting for public perception, she may be fighting for control over her future. Sources close to her describe her as deeply hurt but determined. She's devastated but not defeated, the host explains. She refuses to let Jeff's reaction define her. The podcast poses a critical question: can Lauren reclaim her power? Or is Jeff already pulling away? So where do things stand now? Lauren has withdrawn from public view, working closely with PR professionals to restore her image. Meanwhile, Jeff has retreated into Blue Origin operations, keeping his distance from both Lauren and the media. According to insiders, their relationship appears to be unraveling. The public gestures of affection, couples, yacht photos, high-profile event appearances have disappeared. It's radio silence, the host notes. Jeff is reportedly spending long evenings alone aboard the Kourou, while Lauren has been seen meeting with legal advisors. This isn't a reconciliation, the podcast claims. It's a calculated retreat on both sides. The internet has weighed in, and its judgment is harsh. Trending exposts call Jeff a cold king and Lauren a fallen queen. The host sums it up: this isn't just about cosmetic choices. It's about control, power, and public perception. Jeff's continued silence suggests he's already moving forward, strategizing his next steps, while Lauren works to rebuild what's left of her public and professional identity. As the podcast points out, in Jeff's world, betrayal isn't punished, it's erased. So, will Lauren rise again or be quietly erased by one of the most powerful empires in the world? One thing's certain, this billionaire romance has become a billionaire standoff. What do you think? Did Lauren Sanchez's transformation ruin her image, or is Jeff Bezos' cold response the real issue? Is this a cautionary tale of vanity or an example of a powerful woman being punished for her autonomy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, we want to hear from you.